Good morning, guys. Happy Monday. Time to get started again. Today I'm going to get these racks back here organized. All the deer from last year going to get separated from the deer from this year. And on this 2x4 that I keep in my room, I'm going to bring all the racks in here for all the rest of the deer that I've got in my pickle. That way that will be separated. We're going to get these things put back in order the way that I need them in. And then what we're going to do, I'm going to get a couple of hides neutralized and get them tended for tomorrow. And these deer that I've got on my rack, I'm going to go through them today. They've been bagged all weekend long. I've had my dehumidifier on, and now they've set up good enough to where you can press into that cape, and it will hold detail. It gets a little bit tacky. The glue has started to set. So I'm going to go in here now and work on my details in these deer, do a little bit of grooming, brush them out real good, get them positioned where I want them to dry up at. Also got in a delivery from McKenzie Taxidermist Supply. It's got just a few forms in it that I'm going to need this next week. Also, it should have my fleshing blade in there. So if that fleshing blade is in there, then we're going to try to change this blade out. I ain't never done it before. And I don't really even know if the blade I ordered is going to fit in my machine as far as how it goes on the machine. But anyway, we'll try it out here in just a minute. So all the bolts that go around the edge broke off, aside from this one. It looks like half of it broke off. The heads broke off the other ones. The bolt came out down here fine, but now I'm going to have to drill these other bolts out in order to get this plate off to get to my blade. That's one way to do it. This thing is so rusted, which is about 99.9, well, let's just say it's 100% my fault. Not taking very good care of it since I got it, because honestly, I didn't have that big expectations for it, and it's actually done better than I thought. There she is, folks. With this nice, crisp, beautiful new one about to go on. But first, we're going to clean this one up and get it looking kind of back to normal before I put this back together. Now, although it's probably completely pointless, I'm going to save this old rusty blade I've been using just in case I break that or something happens. I won't be completely out of business until a new one comes in. All right, well, it's 10 till 5. Time to call it quitting time on a Monday. I've got the racks organized down here from last year. Got a few from this year. Got them all in line, all in order, and I just about made the cardinal mistake. I found a rack when I'm sitting to organize all this stuff. So I've even got these, the ones that are tanning, I've got them ready in here to mount. And I'm looking through all my racks, organizing everything, and I come across a rack that has got a name, a number, and a phone number. And that's all I've got. No form size, no nothing. I was like, what is this? And I got looking, and sure enough, found the cape. So I had a cape with a matching rack, and it was recent. The guy brought it recently, so I had to actually look back and call him and figure out what kind of form he wanted and everything. But if y'all remember, a couple of weeks ago, I stabbed myself in the side of the face, almost in the eye with that rack, that deer antler, that pack mount. And he came in here and brought me that like immediately after I made that video of me up there patching myself up. Like while I was up there at the house, he pulled into the shop. So I don't know if I was just disoriented. He said that I had written down all the information stuff. I probably wrote it down on some piece of paper somewhere, and it got thrown away or something. I don't know, but I did have his name and phone number written down on the tag. So I was able to take care of that right quick. If you ever do that, don't wait, because by the time you start getting busy, you will completely forget about it. And when that deer comes around to mount, you'll be looking at it like, what in the world is this? And by then it's going to be hard to find. If you don't have their phone number, you're going to have to look it up, figure out where they tried to call you and everything else. But got that taken care of. So deer season opens in the morning at daylight. And it's going to get real interesting. This is the calm before the storm. So I've got probably about a month and a half where they're going to be trickling in a little bit. But y'all, this is going to get real interesting about mid-November, late November. Y'all going to start seeing some crazy videos come over here. I got folks raking some deer heads in this room. And I'm kind of looking forward to it and kind of dreading it. But it is what it is, man. It's what we do. So, guys, we will see y'all in the morning. Well, happy Tuesday morning, guys. I cannot believe that I'm in a shop today and not deer hunting. But, oh well, it is what it is. I've got a plan. So, if everything works out next year, we'll be deer hunting over today, I promise. Today, what I'm going to do, I got 2 hides over here that are tanned. We're going to mount up 2 deer. This really nice buck right here is actually really a stud of an 8-point. So we're going to film that and put it on the channel. Most of these deer I've started to dry a little bit. I've had the bag off of them for the last couple of days, and the skin's starting to tighten up. You can see how it's starting to hold. It'll hold that detail now. They're dry enough to where they're starting to look good. Aside from that, I'm hoping that's all we have to do today. So there may be somebody bring me a deer. There's a lot of my buddies out in the woods hunting this morning. Now, the man that killed this deer, his name's Ben. He asked me to film his buck being mounted. If any of y'all ever bring me a deer and decide that y'all want it filmed, I film the majority of the ones that I get in, unless somebody specifically asks me not to. But if you specifically ever want one filmed, please let me know so I can write it down and I don't get in a hurry and skip over it, because I don't film every one of them. Got the eyes set. I'm gonna get us a little bit of glue. We've already got the ear liners in the cape. The cape has been thinned and stretched, and it's ready to go on here. The antlers are trimmed. Really good set of antlers too. Really good rack on this deer. All right, let's grab us a cape. That's a big old buck. Bunch of different ways y'all can do this. Many taxidermists choose to do the face first, then do all their stitches, and it works either way. I prefer to do my stitching first because I don't want to mess my face up while I'm messing with the stitches. And I tend to be a little bit more aggressive than most taxidermists while I'm mounting a deer. So it don't bother me to get stuff a little bit dirty and whatever, because I can always clean it up once I get everything in place. Sometimes I just have clay and glue all over the place. Had a guy comment on the video a while back, said that I look like a pump with my hat turned around backwards. I don't know about looking like a pump, but I will say this. This right here is a heater. This right here, that's air conditioning. To be perfectly honest with you. As long as I can get done with everything, I really don't care what I look like. As long as my wife thinks I'm sexy, I don't know what's wrong with her. Because I sure ain't sexy. I know that looking in the mirror. But she likes a middle-aged bald man, so here I am. When y'all do y'all's mounts, when y'all get y'all's V stitched up, always make sure that you push that cape forward. Get that V back up on top of that head as you're stitching and pulling. It'll get pulled down sometimes. It gets stretched a lot too. And a lot of mistakes I see people make is they don't push that cape back forward toward the antlers and towards the eyes. And that's why sometimes when it dries, it tries to draw back around the backs of those the birds of the antlers. There we go. Now he's got ears. Almost there. Help if I had some staples. All right, Ben, got your deer done, buddy. He looks absolutely incredible. He's gonna look even better once he gets dried. Right now, I'm going to eat some lunch. We'll get a full belly. We're gonna come back and go mount another one. All right, we got another deer mounted up. He is ready to dry. And I have got to get some of this tan into this little bitty bucket from this gigantic 5-gallon bucket that is a brand new bucket of tan. And I've talked about before how you can buy Pro 1 tan oil. You buy it in a 5-gallon bucket and it's way cheaper than buying it in the small containers. But it's almost impossible to get it from a large container onto a hide. So the best thing I've found to do is to take this jug and funnel that into that jug. And then I've got a smaller bottle that's probably an 8-ounce little squirt bottle. And I will pour from the medium-sized one into the small one and use that to apply it to capes. It just keeps it, it's easier. I mean, it's way easier. Even though you got to, do a little bit of transfer in here there, it'll keep you from wasting a lot of tan. So I'm going to go ahead and video this in case I do something really stupid, because this is not just super easy to do. I mean, they top these things off too. It is extremely, extremely full. All right, that's plenty. It's probably about 3/4 of the way full, maybe a little bit less than that. But you don't want to fill that jug up too full, because when you try to pour it into the smaller container, it'll be impossible if you can't actually tilt it over and get it pouring, smoothly. And you'll end up pouring it all over the floor. So now we're going to take this over here. Ooh, Lord. Hope that was as much fun for y'all as it was for me. All right, let's see here. I got this little guy here. Just a little small squirt bottle. Take this, transfer this into here. Just like that. And that lasts a pretty good many deer heads in that middle-sized jug. This right here will do about 2, 2.5, maybe 3 if they're really small. But just a tip to keep in mind if you want to save a little bit of money on the tanning solution. I'm getting these 2 hides tanned. I don't know if I've ever really gone over this that much, but I towel dry my capes. You can get you an old washing machine, and as long as the spin cycle works, you hook that sucker up and put these in a washing machine and spin them and get rid of all the water that's in them. But I've never done that before, and I'm sure it would probably be way easier than doing this. I've just never taken the time to find a washing machine and get it hooked up down here. But very possible one of these days that is the route that I'm going to go. So from what I've heard talking to other taxidermists, it is definitely better and easier than having to towel dry. It's not hard to towel dry, it's just, it's just a little aggravating. You gotta make sure your towels stay dry. Part of that's running a dehumidifier, and also about every, once a week, I like to take these up to the house and wash them, because like towel drying these before I put a tan on them, they are technically still raw, even though they've been in a pickle and been washed. So I don't like to get these things too contaminated with an untanned hide. I even use separate towels for my untanned hides as I do from my tanned hides, because I'll towel dry those too once I get ready to put them on a form. But I do use separate towels just because of the bacteria contamination. I just try to stay away from that as much as possible. But I mean, that's all there is to that. Does a pretty good job. That's dry enough now to put a tan on. And I'm gonna get that tan spread on these suckers. It is 5 o'clock right now on the dot, so it's about time to call it a day. A little bit monotonous down here, by yourself. Kind of start talking to yourself or talking to deer or talking to your camera, your phone. Why do you think I got a YouTube channel? This stuff makes you crazy. Anyway, we'll see y'all in the morning. Good morning, guys. Happy Wednesday. It is an absolutely perfect Beautiful bluebird Wednesday morning, 67 degrees. And I'm down here in my shop during deer season. I said this was going to be a good idea to come in here and work and not hunt, try to get this stuff caught up so that when I needed to hunt, I could hunt. This is killing me. Like, I really, really wish that I had just gone hunting this morning and just worked, I don't know, through the weekend or something. But I don't know. Next week, we've got some 50s for the lows. So I'm hoping that maybe if I may go ahead and mount deer Friday and Saturday. And if I could get all of this wall filled up by Saturday, then I might go next week. I may do a little bit of hunting. It's going to take a few days for these things to drop before I can finish them anyway. So if everything works out, maybe in the woods some next week. But we will see. As for today, I have got 2 capes that are tanned, and we're going to mount up 2 deer. And hopefully that's all we're going to have to deal with today, aside from I got to tan 2 more hides for tomorrow. And maybe everything will go smooth. We'll see. Well, I just got done eating lunch. I've been up there trying to convince myself that I can get done today in time to go hunt for a little bit this evening before dark. But while I was eating lunch, I got this guy right here brought to me, which is awesome. I mean, I love the business, but it is deer season, so here we go. Needless to say, I'm going to have to cape that deer out now whenever I get rid of this next deer that I got to mount. But I did get this deer done. Look at that guy. Crazy looking side on that deer. Check that out. Little crab claw. Base comes almost down to his eye. Almost even with his eye socket there. Really good looking deer. But I've got one more I've got to do, and he's a big one too. Let's take a look at this guy. Not like y'all ain't gonna see him in a second anyway, but this is a big, heavy horn deer. He's gonna make a really good mount. Also a big form. This buck right here's got a really big neck on him. What I'm about to do is about the same size. So during deer season, guys, you just never know what's going to happen when. I mean, today is Wednesday. The guy killed that buck yesterday evening, and had to bring him to me today while I was on lunch. So congratulations to him, and it is a fine buck. But man, I want to be in the woods so bad. It's driving me crazy. What I may have to do tomorrow, I might get up about 3 or 4 o'clock. I may come down here and mount deer early. If I can make myself do it, we'll see. Because I sure would, man. I need to get in the woods. Just eat me alive. So what are the odds that I would run out of glue and clay at the same exact time? Fortunately, I have a bucket of glue and I have a box of clay. But now I just have to open them and get them all out. I'm right in the middle of mounting this deer. As inconvenient as that is, at least I'm not out of supplies. Whew. 5 gallons of hide paste. More than this old boy wants. Well, that's got number 2 put together. Y'all look at the beautiful colors on that buck right there. That is a pretty son of a gun. Big deer too. Big body. Black nose, black head. Good looking deer. All right, now all we got left is this guy. Cape him out, get him measured, get him frozen. Okay, change of plan. We're not going to cape that buck out today. I went and put him in the freezer because he is 100% infested with ticks. And not just any ticks. He's got big ticks, little ticks, and he is covered in seed ticks. And when I say covered, I'm talking about, like, I picked the deer up off the floor, put it on my table, and had about 10 of them crawling on my gloves. If I had not been wearing those blue latex or nitrile gloves, I wouldn't even be able to see them. But I'm going to show y'all on this table how tiny these things are and just how bad. I mean, you could get eat up with these things if y'all aren't careful. All right, y'all look at this right here. You see that guy? This is him compared to my thumb. See how little that is? Y'all look right here. You know, I wish y'all could see in person just how little this is. Yeah, look right here. Look. See that? That is my leg. So, needless to say, no sir. No sir, no sir, no sir. I'm about to start hosing this room down and I'm about to bomb everything. Like, these things got to go. This time of year, it's really bad. It's bad in the wintertime. You got to be very careful, even in the middle of winter. But right now, I mean, it's 88 degrees today, and I'm telling you, it is bad. Like, you will get eat, slap up. I'm going to end up with one stuck on me before this night's over. I can almost guarantee you. But I'm about to grab the permethrin out of my truck, and I'm going to start soaping and spraying. So, see y'all in a minute. What's up, guys? Thursday, October the 3rd. I did not get up early enough this morning to get done so that I could go hunting this afternoon, unfortunately. But I don't know, maybe tomorrow. If not, next week for sure. Got a cold front coming through, and I will be in the woods some. Today, what I'm going to do, I got to mount up 2 deer heads, and I've already got one just about prepped, ready to put on a form. I'm going to show y'all. I've had a few questions about how I stretch these capes and about what size they need to be once they've been tanned. When you salt a cape, it draws up really bad. It'll shrink up a lot. It's got to be rehydrated. Then it's got to be pickled. It's got to be thinned. It's got to be pickled again. It's got to be tanned. Then it's got to be thinned. So if you don't get a cape thin enough, it's not going to stretch. Just about regardless. You can do an amazing job tanning a deer, and it can be perfectly preserved, but it's not going to get a whole lot bigger when you try to stretch that thing, unless you put it in a cape stretcher and really go to cranking on it. And even then, what you're going to end up doing probably is either tearing the hide, or you're going to have trouble because that cape, when it's too thick, it just isn't going to be very pliable. But let me show y'all. I have got this cape thinned down, and he's ready to go. It's not completely down to the blue where you can see the hair follicles. You can see a little bit of color through it, but it will hold, like if you pinch it, you can see where it will hold a crease. That's just about what I look for. You don't want it to have a roll. You want it to be able to crease like that right there. But you see, when I'm holding this right here, watch. And I can keep on going with that. I can make it just about as wide as I want. But you see how easy that stretches. I mean, it's almost like latex. And see, if you don't get it that thin, it obviously is not going to stretch that easily. But the thinner that you can get it, the better off you are and the easier you're going to have trying to make it stretch. You see the size of the neck right there compared to down here, just after having done that. You see how easy that it just pulls right apart. You don't have to have a cape stretcher. You don't have to have anything. It's just going to expand right where you need it to be. So when I first started doing this, I did not have a fleshing machine. All I had was a scalpel, and I would thin them the best that I could before I tanned them. And after they got done tanning, they were still very thick, especially compared to what I'm doing now. I had no idea just how thick they were. And you don't know until you see the difference between the two. And I can tell you, if you ever plan on doing this for any length of time or try to go into business doing it, buy a fleshing machine and learn how to use it, because it completely changes the entire quality of the mount. It's going to be night and day difference of how easy it is to mount. It's going to end up shrinking less on the form. You're going to end up with more detail showing through on your mounts. And it's just going to be a better quality job. And you're really going to appreciate the fact that you spent the money, whereas I did not to begin with. You're going to want to buy a fleshing machine. Good afternoon, y'all. It's Friday, October the 4th. I didn't close out yesterday because it got late and my phone died. So couldn't close that out. Matter of fact, I mounted this deer right there yesterday evening. Lost my battery while I was filming me mounting that deer, so didn't get the end of that. But I did get him done. And ended up getting, it was about 15 to 8 last night. Got a lot of deer picked up yesterday. Even though it took me a little bit late, the room is getting emptied out, which is awesome. I love seeing that bare wall, because now I've got this that is just about to replace it. I've been making pretty good progress this week, but in all honesty, I am physically exhausted. I'm about wore slap out. Today, I've got one deer that is already tanned that I'm going to try to mount up. It's going to be in a regular upright left turn, so it's going to be a fairly simple mount to do. Hopefully, we won't run into issues with that, because I kind of like to knock it out quick. Got another cape that I have got to flesh out today and get it measured. Somebody paid to expedite that deer. And I also have got another cape that was brought from another taxidermist that is pickled, that needs to be tanned and measured as well. So I'm going to try to get all that taken care of this afternoon. It's right at 12 o'clock right now. I just got done eating lunch and just now got down here. I had a podcast that I did this morning with some friends. It's called the Yoder Talk podcast. Really good podcast with really good guys. Some of that group I go with on my fishing trip every year. If y'all ever watch our fish haul trip, the big trip that we go on in August, we catch a whole bunch of reef fish and stuff. It's a good time, and their family has got a podcast pretty big. So they got 50-something thousand subscribers on YouTube, so y'all go check that out. But we're going to get started on these deer heads and see if we can't get done sometime today and then have a nice weekend off. Y'all, it is only 4:25 and we are done for the day. I have got that cape flashed out and salted, ready to go. I've got this cape tanning, and we have got that deer mounted up. So very successful week. Very successful day today. Well, I was kind of surprised. When I get started till lunchtime, man, that turned out pretty good. So we have got 1, 2, 3 more wall mounts that we can fit deer on. And I've got the form ready for tomorrow. This buck that I've got tanning, tomorrow is Saturday, and I really don't want to do anything. But if I wake up and just feel a little froggy, I may come down here and just put him together right quick just because it's ready to go. Be one less thing that I've got to think about. Great week. Hope that y'all learned something this week, or hope y'all are at least entertained by all of my nonsense. And y'all have a good weekend. Well, it's Sunday after you're watching this, so I hope you had a good weekend. And y'all have a good day tomorrow on Monday. And we will see y'all next week.